above our ankles, in between our shins, just to give us some awareness of having to squeeze in on that ball, to give us some inner thigh awareness, hopefully lining up our ankles underneath our knees, which are underneath our hip bones. We're just going to roll those shoulders up, back and down a few times. Keep that squeeze, so you should feel inner thigh awareness. You might feel it down in your shins a little. 2 more times. Good. Then bend the knees forward. Keep that squeeze. Even go a little pigeon-toed for me. Roll through a cat stretch. I guess we should call it a nutmeg stretch. And inhale through a cow. LC. So we're going to go nutmeg and LC. Ooh, yes, beautiful. One more time, rounding and then extending. And then pull your abs in, stand up nice and tall, big deep breath in, bring it down. We're just going to do a little bit of calf work here. So we're going to roll up on those tippy toes, try and balance for a second, and then slowly lower without plunking down on your heels. So we lift, and with control, we lower. So we're trying to do it so that we pause for a second at the top, and when we lower, we don't hit hard with those heels. Good. Keep that going. I didn't mean you. Come back when you're ready. Just a few more here. And then let's see if we can hold at the top on this one. Balance, 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 and gently come down. We're going to move that ball up now between our inner thighs. Feet are in parallel. And again, trying to bring them in as much as comfortable. We're going to do just a little demi squat here, not even a plie. So we're going to let our hips go back. We're going to bend at the knees. We're going to walk in those feet a little bit more, and we're going to squeeze the ball as hard as we can while we're down. And as we come up, and then you can release a little bit at the top. So we drop and squeeze and stand up. Drop and squeeze and up. Just keep that squeeze on the ball. So we're not just getting some primary quad work, we're also getting some of those little guys and those inner thighs. Weight goes into your heels as you sit back. So by hinging at the hips as well as at the knees, we're going to work those vastus muscles, medius lateralis, medium. Good, just a couple more here. And this time we're going to stay down in that little squatty position. Pull those abs in, shoulders out of your ears. Welcome back, Nutmeg. Beautiful. Then as you stand up, you're going to shift your weight onto that right leg. We're going to reach out with those left toes, and then we're going to squeeze in again, inner thigh. So we reach and squeeze. We reach and squeeze. We reach and squeeze. Reach and squeeze. Reach and squeeze. Just 2 more. Reach and squeeze. Reach, squeeze, lift, leave that left leg off the ground. Give me pulses, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And relax. Ooh, shift that weight onto that opposite leg, that left leg. Reach out with your right toes and stand and squeeze. So we're going to reach and squeeze. Reach and squeeze. Reach and squeeze. Couple more. Beautiful. Last 2. Good. Squeeze it in. Hold that leg in space. Give me a pulse. 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 And relax. All right. We're going to do just one more. We're going to take that right leg forward. We're going to bring that ball slightly behind the right leg and in front of the left. We're going to bend into that right leg, stretch back with the left, and then stand up. So we reach and stand. Reach and stand. Feel that in that right glute. So primarily that's what we're working here. We're working that quad some. We're gonna work it a little bit more in just a second. Mostly working that right glute, and reach. And reach. Last two. Last one, leave it back there, lift that leg off the ground, hold on to your ball. You should feel this in that right glute and stand it up. And now we'll switch it around. So that ball goes behind the left leg and in front of the right. We bend that left knee to reach back with those right toes and stand. Reach and stand. Feel that left glute doing the work here. Two more. Good, hold it back, lift that leg off the ground, hold, feel that glute, and bring it up. All right, we're gonna come down onto the ground. We're actually gonna sit up on that ball for the last little bit of quad work. You can be centered on that ball, or you can have it a little over to the left. Your left knee is coming in. You can either have it right here, you can have it a little out to the side, totally up to where it feels more comfortable. Right leg is going out. We're gonna rotate it open. So the inner thigh is facing the ceiling. We're sitting up nice and tall. If you need to have your hands here for support, that's fine. Around the leg, whatever. Point and flex just 2 times. And then lift that leg off the ground, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and lift, 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 flex and lift. Good, now point and bend and stretch, 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 flex and press, press, press and press. Oh, we will stretch that leg out in a second. Bring that right leg in, left leg goes out and a little off to the side. We sit up nice and tall, we point and flex here. And then again, we're gonna lift up and we're gonna point and flex. Inner thigh facing the ceiling, point and lift. Flex and lift. Point and bend and stretch. Flex and press. And relax. All right, roll off that ball. Let's stretch the right leg first. So roll onto your left hip. Bring that right leg behind you. Knee in line with the hip. Take that hip and roll it forward for me. Then bring that right arm up. Stretching overhead, reaching behind you, and then bringing it down. Walking it to the front of your mat. And then we'll lift up and we'll stretch the other leg. So right leg comes in front, left leg goes to that side, knee in line with your hip, and then roll that hip forward for me. Arm comes up overhead, maybe we lift a little to the back, then bring it down, walk it to the front, and bring it up. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna head all the way down onto the ground. Just bring your ball with you, please. Bring it, ball behind your knees and give them a hug in. And then we'll move that ball, put those feet on the ground. We'll start with that kinesthetic awareness. So we're gonna put that ball either at your belly button area or at your rib cage, wherever you feel like you can collapse in enough so the ball will stay in space. And we're just gonna breathe here for a couple of seconds. And then when you feel ready, and if you need to hold the ball while you adjust, that's fine. You're gonna bring those legs in tabletop, right? Ball stays in place, and we go to toe touches. You might do single leg, you might do single leg with a heel flex, you might do double leg. The point is that we keep that ball nice and steady. You have 4 more here. Last 2. And last one. Go ahead and move that ball, move your knees into your chest. We're going to come back to 2 more versions of toe touches, but we'll take a quick break and do some other stuff in the meanwhile. So we're going to stack those legs in tabletop. We're going to put that ball right on top of the knees, elbows out. Exhale, float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. Inhale, extend both legs, arms go overhead. Exhale, tap the ball to the knees. Inhale, stretch and reach. Exhale, tap. Inhale to reach. Exhale to tap. Inhale to reach. Exhale to tap. Option, inhale, reach, exhale, put the ball in between the knees and extend. If you want a little more challenge, when you go to put it between your knees, roll up a little higher and then put it between your knees. And of course, the last level, keep your knees in tabletop, go all the way up and roll the ball up and down your shins and then extend. Right? So you choose whichever one of those is best for you. Good. And then relax, hug those knees into your chest, grab that ball, give me a little bridge and put that ball underneath your tailbone. So now we're going to do that second round of toe touches. This time we have that pelvic tilt created by the ball, but it also creates that unstable environment. So first, just stack those knees and see how that feels to you. And then see if you could lift a hand, maybe lift the other hand, and then see what happens if you lift both hands. You should feel a lot of wobble, challenge in your body. You might stick with that and just hold this. You could add that toe touch. If it's just too much, you can always put your hands back down. It can be double leg toe touch or single. Here we go. Two more. And then bridge it on up. All right, this time we're going to take that ball and we're going to put it up against the left thigh, which is in tabletop. We're going to smash that ball against the thigh. We keep the thigh in beautiful right angle tabletop. Then extend that right leg if that's okay with you. You can lift your head, neck, and shoulders, but you certainly don't have to. Let's just hold this for 3, 2, and 1. Then you're going to put that ball up against that right thigh, again, in tabletop. And then you're going to extend that left leg. You guys get to do this one on your own. All right. Oh gosh. All right. And then we're going to turn that into our single leg stretch with the breathing. So left leg in tabletop, right leg is extended. We press against the left leg. Inhale, switch. Press against the right leg. Inhale, switch. Press against the left. Inhale, switch. Press against the right. And press. And press. And press, and press, keep going, and press, and press, and 4, and 4, and 3, and 3, and 2, and 2, last 1, and 1. Beautiful. All right, final round of toe touches. We're going to take that ball between our knees. So take a moment, put your fingertips on your low abs, bring your big toes to touch. So again, you're in that pigeon toe position. Deep breath in, exhale, squeeze the ball as tightly as you can and notice the change that happens in those abs right underneath your fingertips, I hope, right? They should tighten up. And now you don't need to hold that there, or you can. We're going to bring those legs into our tabletop. Again, deep breath in. Exhale, pull the belly button in. Inhale, knees move away, squeezing the ball as hard as you can on your toe touch, and then back up again. Make sure that the thigh is moving away from the body. You're not just dropping those toes down, nice and strong, keeping those abs flat, keeping that low back the same distance from the ground. Good. You have 6 more of these, please. Almost there. Nice job, y'all. And when you've done that final one, go ahead, move that ball out of the way And again, you can bring that ball behind your hamstrings and give it a little hug in, rock side to side. And then we'll part those knees again and put that ball back between those knees, arms out into a T position as we move those legs side to side. Keep those knees over your hips and keep those toes lifted so your shins stay parallel to the ground. Beautiful. Come on back through center, put your feet down, and we're going to put that ball underneath our feet. So you're going to let those toes go over the top of the ball and the heels come over the back of the ball. The knees are going to want to gap open. So I'm going to encourage you to keep the knees together, actually touching as you lift up in that bridge. And then this might be where you stay. Maybe you try hovering your hands. Maybe you can rest those hands on the thighs and you just lift and lower your hips. Or if that's too much wobble, feel free to put your hands back down. And relax. All right, that was our first bridge. Let's do one more bridge right here, and then we'll come back to our third level in a minute. You're gonna bring that ball back between the knees, toes together, knees squeeze the ball, lift those hips up. So again, if you wanted, you could just go up and down, but I'd really love to see you extend your left leg and squeeze in on the ball. Hands can hover or be down. Good. And then we'll switch it up. Same thing, right leg is extended and it squeezes in. And relax. Bring that down. Bring that ball overhead. Nice long big stretch through your spine. All right, what the heck, let's go ahead and do that final version of bridge. This is a single leg, so we're going to have to do both sides, which means if you choose not to do the single leg, then you're just going to find one of those previous versions. So this time my left foot is on the ball, but you can see my heel, hopefully you can see my heel is dropped down below the ball. My toe is up in the air, so there's kind of a right angle on the foot. And then that right foot will stay on the ground to help us actually lift up in this bridge. And then we could do something as simple as hovering those hands and feeling that power. We could roll that ball forward and back for some hamstring work. If you want the big balance, then you bring that right leg up. It could stay in tabletop or it could sit all the way up in the air. And then again, you can roll in and out, or you could lift and lower, or you could do a combination. You could lift, lower, roll out and in. Totally up to you. And relax. And then we'll, of course, do the same thing on the other side. So my right heel is lower than my toes. Left foot helps us come up into the bridge. Hover the hands, roll in and out, or lift that left leg tabletop, or all the way up. And then you could roll in and out. You could lift lower, or you can do a combination. And relax. All right, let's grab that ball, put it on the fronts of our ankles, and then hold it with our fingertips. Bring your forehead to your knees. Exhale, rolling like a ball. Little pause at the top. Exhale, roll. Little pause at the top. Last time you come up, go ahead. You get to sit up on that ball for spine stretch, so we get a nice extended spine stretch. So as you sit tall, you're trying to get those ears over the shoulders, which are over the hips. You want to roll forward a little bit on the ball, so it kind of like creates a wedge there. Knees might be bent, they might be straight. You choose, sit tall, and then hinge forward. And then as you sit up, all you're going to do is roll forward enough that that ball ends up creating that wedge behind your sacrum. So now you're supported there, straighten your arms and lean back a little bit. And you should feel how that wedge allows you to let go and still feel it in your abs, but maybe not as much as you sometimes could in your low back. So from here, we're just going to open those arms into a T. We're going to rotate side to side. In that little hinged position, if you need to, you can do stick up arms, that's fine. Try and keep the roundness out of the spine. So we don't want to be curled and rotating because that's going to impact those vertebrae. So make sure you're tall and extended. As a matter of fact, you could take your back arm and reach tall, and that will help keep you or help remind you to keep that roundness out of the spine. So nice and supported side to side. And the last thing I'm going to remind you about is what's going on with the knees. Notice them and notice that they're not doing this piston action, right? They're staying together or they're staying the same distance apart, and then come to center. All right. Now we're going to come on down onto our side facing knee. We're going to put that ball underneath the ankle of the bottom leg. And then you're going to roll over onto your side facing knee. And you're going to try to roll that bottom leg so you can barely see your tippy toes. Then that top leg can just rest there for now. We want to create our little mouse house by pulling that waistline up. You're going to rest your head down on your arm. You're going to lift that top leg, and the little extra challenge is the bottom leg, isn't bent and supporting, it's on an unstable environment. We're going to turn the toes down and touch the big toes together. We're going to lift up and toe to toe, lift up, toe to toe, lift up, toe to toe. Good. Now we're going to flex and go heel to heel with the toes facing in the air. And then we'll put those together. We're going to go toe to toe, rotate heel to heel. Toe to toe, rotate heel to heel. Make it, as always, an exaggerated gesture. You should feel this in that top hip quite a bit. And relax. Bend that top knee. Give a little love. And then all you're going to do is the knee that's bent is going to flip over the opposite thigh as you roll open, passive stretch here. That's all. Then the knee that's bent comes back over and in front, and then you're going to prop yourself up. So you still have the same leg towards the ceiling. Then you're going to grab that ball, staying on the same side for a side plank. Elbow underneath your shoulder, protect that shoulder by pushing it back, lifting up out of it. And then you choose your favorite side plank. And then once you come up in that side plank, you're going to put that ball where it's just touching some part of your body and give it a little squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift. And relax. Bring that ball out of the way. Come on up, and we're coming over to the other side. So once again, that ball is going to go under the ankle of the bottom leg, and we're going to line ourselves up so that we can just barely see the toes of that bottom leg. Waistline lifted, top leg lifts, we tap toe to toe. Good, and now we're gonna go heel to heel. And then we alternate toe to toe, rotate heel to heel. And relax. Ooh, bend that top knee. You can roll off that ball. And then just let that top knee drape across the opposite thigh as you open up. And then as you roll back through center, you're going to prop yourself up for a side plank. Yes, I forgot the balance side plank on the other side, but we'll get back to it. Shoulder back, lift up, engage, and then come up in that side plank, ball just underneath you. Give it a little squeeze lift, squeeze lift, squeeze lift. And relax. All right, what we didn't do on the other side, we'll do on this side, and then we'll even up. You can either go back to that one if you know the balance on the ball doesn't work for you, or if you want, then you try the balance by putting that bottom foot and ankle on first, leave yourself a lot of space for the arch of the top leg, and then lift it up, side plank, straighten out those legs, hold that side plank for, however long works for you. Or you go to the little squeeze press, squeeze press. Nice job. And then as you're ready, let's go do that on the other side. Carol, you can stay up as long as you want. All right, and then on this other side again, that bottom leg goes on first, ankle and foot, lots of space for that top leg, and we lift it up, and we hold it. And then when you're ready, let's come on down over onto our abs with that ball out in front of you, please. Toes are pointed, abs are in, kneecaps are lifted just a little bit. Bring your hands on top of that ball for me, please. Deep breath in. Press down on the ball to lift just your collarbone off the ground. Keeping just the collarbone lifted. Squeeze your shoulder blades down and together. So we're working those shoulder blades, head stays in line. Exhale, come down. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift. Inhale, roll the ball back. And exhale down. Deep breath in. Exhale, press. Inhale, squeeze back. Exhale down. So I'm not coming up very far. I mostly want to feel this arch in my upper back, not so much lower back. And now we'll add on, press down, squeeze back, and see if maybe you want to go a little higher into that low back. And relax down. Exhale, press, squeeze, inhale, lift, just only as high as feels good to you. Last time, press, lift, squeeze, and relax. Let's just bend those knees, windshield wiper side to side. And then you're going to bring that ball underneath the belly button with those elbows propped underneath your shoulders. So that just gives us that same arch that we just did using muscles, but we're doing it in a nice relaxed fashion. Then we're going to turn this into that pre-plank. Make sure your hands are the same distance apart as your elbows. Roll your shoulders back, bring your head in line. Lift your collarbone and your chest so the ball is barely touching your ribs. Try not to round through that upper back. Try not to push the booty up or sag it down. So it's just your toes, your knees, and your forearms on the ground. And we're just holding here. If you want to, I'm not going to do this one, but you could roll into the fronts of your thighs, or you could tuck your toes and lift up into a regular plank and roll that ball forward and back. So you guys have lots of options there. I'm not doing those yet. Couple more breaths, couple more reps. and then relax and move that ball out of the way. If you'd like to, go ahead and put that ball back on your heels, and then sit back, hips on your heels, resting position. And then as you're ready, you can leave the ball back there if you want to do the balance plank, right? So it's going to go underneath your ankles, and then you come into your plank. Go ahead and stay up a little bit longer if you can. And then as you're ready, gently come down, take a moment, give yourself another stretch, either by resting back in shell stretch or windshield wiper side to side. Just take a moment, please. And then when you're ready, we're coming back up on that ball. Again, you're going to find that position where you can sit nice and tall. Your weight is more forward than back, right? If I'm back on the ball, I'll be rounded. If I'm forward on the ball, it puts me in that extension. So you want to play with that for a minute and just see the difference, right? And then eventually, as I said, you want to end up in that place where you're sitting tall, right? A little forward. And then it's up to you whether your legs stay bent or straight, but you want to grow tall through the spine. You're going to rotate toward me. Roll the shoulders out of your ears, take the back arm, see if it'll go a little further. Take the front arm, reach forward without dropping, right? So stay lifted, and then bring your hand down. Use the back arm to rotate, use the front arm to press, and sit tall as you hinge. Inhale, center for sol. Other way, back arm reaches, front arm stretches, bring it down, rotate deeper, flex your feet, and inhale, center with the breath. Exhale, twist, reach to the front. Inhale, center, exhale, twist, reach to the back. And center, and front, and center, and back. Almost there. Beautiful. Sit nice and tall. Bring your big toes to touch, please. Flex your toes back toward your face. Even take a moment and pull them back. So you get that nice stretch in your feet. Then sit tall again. Again, knees bent, that's fine. Keep the big toes together. That's the name of the game. Now, we're on this ball, so this twist won't be quite as easy. So we're going to rotate to the front, and then we're going to give it 2 more rotations, and then inhale, center. Make sure your big toes are still touching. You didn't fall off the ball. To the back. Twist, twist, twist. Those are all exhales. To the front. Twist, twist, twist. To the front or center. The back. Check your feet as you come back to center. To the front. Twist, twist, twist. And center to the back. And center, inhale. Front. And center to the back. This time, bend your front elbow, push back, push back, push back, center, back, push, push, push. Woo! This time, staying on that ball, you're going to bend your knees a little bit, bring your feet in, give them a little stretch here, and then just drop your head. Then you can start to move your feet forward a little, dropping your head like a ragdoll stretch. And then as you're ready, we're going to roll forward on that ball. We're going to bring it about halfway back so it's underneath your low back so that you can lean back. And then you're going to bring your left knee in nice and close, right? So I want it really close to your shoulder, and then extend that left leg up, arms out to the side, a little bit of support here. This is our one-legged pendulum, right? So I'm doing this because a lot of times our leg ends up out here, and I just want to get that used to seeing how close that knee is. Then bend that left knee, extend, bring your right knee in, and then extend it up, and then same idea, go pendulum side to side, just getting that idea. And then we'll bend the right knee and bring the left knee in and hug them really close. So the first option is just use your arms to go side to side, right? Pull your knees side to side. Second option, from here, a little bit of support. And then final option, I'm not doing, would be straighten those legs, right? And they go side to side. Your arms are still where they were. And then finally, we're going to roll a little further so that ball comes underneath our shoulder blades. So this is our negative to neutral. We're going to start with our fingertips supporting our head, nod yes, so that you can keep the back of the neck the same length and allow that torso to drop over the ball. And then on the exhale, push the ribs against the ball with a little bit of vigor, maybe a forceful exhalation to lift yourself up. Inhale up and over, exhale, shh. Inhale up, exhale. Shh. If you want to add a little extra challenge, first challenge would be just crisscross and support with your elbows. So my elbows are above my head, my elbows are bent, my fingertips are on my shoulders. Next option, extend those arms, make it a long lever. You could always lift one leg up at a time as you come up. You could stack both into tabletop, but don't forget the whole idea here is that negative to neutral. That's the main idea. Not pulling on our neck, we're supporting it. Just two more of whatever you're doing. And then finally pull that ball out from under you and relax. We're going to bring that ball behind your right knee. Give it a nice squeeze here. Let it rock side to side, maybe circle it. And then bring it over towards your right shoulder. Flex through that right heel. Pull those toes back. So we're pushing the knee down, we're pulling the toes back, little movement side to side. Good. And then we'll come through center. We're going to straighten out that left leg and flex through the heel. And we're going to push the ball so it's helping me push the hamstring down and push the calf perpendicular to the floor. And then we'll roll that ball up to the ankle, point the toes, lift yourself up, elbows wide, and then come down. Then we'll bring that ball behind that right knee, give it a little hug up and over to the left shoulder, hold it there, delicious stretch for that right hip. And then we'll put the right foot outside of that left thigh and let it pivot open, and we'll hold here past the figure four. We're going to lift that left leg up. We're going to kind of grab that ball behind that left hamstring, flex and point through that left ankle. And then bend so that ball comes behind the left knee, right leg over top. Knees move up and over to the left, again, getting that nice hip stretch. And then you can either stay there or drop into your twist. And then as you come back through center, that ball should be behind the left leg, right where we need it. And we'll give that a hug in, maybe rotate side to side or circles. Beautiful. Bring that knee in. We're going to straighten out that right leg, flex through the right heel. We're going to bring that ball so that it's pushing down the left hamstring and pressing against the left calf. And we'll roll it all the way up. Bring it down. Bend that knee. Bring that knee across towards the right shoulder. Nice stretch across that hip. And then left leg on the outside of the right thigh, pivot open. And then we lift that right leg up. We'll grab that ball behind the right hamstring this time. We're going to rotate that right ankle, point and flex, bend that knee, crisscross all the way over, knees to the right. You're welcome to stay there for that nice hip stretch, or you can twist if you like. As you come on back through center, you can just leave the ball. You're gonna, however you want to, meet me on your hands and knees, please. And we'll just undulate through that LC and nutmeg. Beautiful. Then we're gonna tuck those toes, lift it up, pedal it out. Wide stance, hang your head, nod yes and shake no. And then we'll bend those knees. We're gonna roll through nutmeg and LC. Ooh. Big deep breath in. Bring your hands to your heart. Thank you. Happy Saturday.